Nobody does well without a sense of safety and security in relationship. Nobody. And that is how we're wired. If we don't have that, we're not going to learn.
The importance of human relationships, that is the basis of everything that we do. And the focus of restorative practices, I believe, is based on relationships and how we cultivate those relationships.
We want our students to be able to connect with their teachers. You know, they're going to spend over 180 days with their teacher, and that line of communication has to be strong between student and teacher for any kind of learning or teaching to take place.
The research is very clear that children learn well when they feel secure, and they don't learn well. In fact, they really don't learn at all if they're insecure.
You know, until they know each other, like each other, trust each other, and me, it's just really hard to get them to focus the way that they need to.
Teaching and education is a human endeavor, and the power of relationships and trust, I think, is the most important. Anytime we try to do school where we forget that or we move away from that, I think we're at risk. So to me, Restorative Practices has given us the opportunity and kind of released us in administration and conflicts in classrooms to do what we wanted to do from the beginning and really love kids, get to know them, and help them grow as humans and academically as well. So,
I didn't really have any problems until 4th grade, and I had extremely long hair, so a lot of people would end up calling me a girl and whatnot. And I was taught by my family the way that you can stop that is by stopping those people. Every single time I had gotten a fight, I would get suspended. These suspensions made me feel like the normal thing to do in school is to go there and get in trouble. After years and years of trauma and going through not only bullying, but what was going on at home, I think we were living in motels and whatnot. I sort of gave up with school altogether. I think it took about a year or two before I finally ended up getting back into high school. It went from me being traumatized, me feeling like everyone's out to get me feeling like when I go to school, today I'm gonna have to get in a fight just to even learn something. But now I'm feeling like I can go to school and learn something just to better my future, just to try to get back on that path of courage. And that's why I'm trying to go to On Track Academy, because I have good courage at the moment. You know, I feel I'm gonna make it now.
Good morning, everybody. It is so nice to see you.
In these classroom circles or community circles, what we do is just start off with a welcome. Sometimes it's just everybody going around saying hello to each other. Sometimes it's asking them to just go around and say one thing on a topic. So today I asked them about their favorite foods, and it just got them going and got them thinking about each other. What I heard today and saw today is that the kids were really able to make connections between themselves. That really allows us to build a community that then in turns allows me to get the kids to the hard work of the academic stuff.
So my question to you is, as you were listening to what everybody was saying, did you hear other stuff that you also love to eat?
It used to be that I would just let kids say, oh, you've got a conflict with somebody, go out into the hallway and solve it. Well, what we're learning is that kids don't know how to do that for real, and I have to do some coaching with them, helping them identify what the conflict is, identify how they really feel, and then identify what they need to have this resolved. And I've had really good success with that. Sometimes there are such deep hurts happening that kids really do need to have a conference with each other and with me in order to have that happen. The other thing is that we'll have class meetings that are a little different than the community circles, and that's where we actually do some problem solving together as a class. So I'll say this is a problem that we're having generally in the class, Let's think about what the causes of the problem are, and then let's see if we can brainstorm some ideas, select a solution that we're gonna try, and then come back and see how it's worked. The kids really need to feel like they can trust me and that they can trust each other. And this is how we get that done. It takes a lot of time, but you can come in anytime and you'll notice that because we've taken that time, they're kinder to each other, they're more understanding. You can come back and see the kids in action, working together collaboratively, and they're able to do that because they've built trust.
Anybody have any questions?
Children are remarkably sensitive, and when they've been harmed or have harmed somebody else, they need to learn that mistakes have consequences in relationship versus mistakes have consequences that take me out of relationship.
When we suspend students, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're being held accountable. For some students, that means a free day out in our community. And so to actually have a response that requires students to stay accountable to the behavior and make up for their wrongdoing is, I think, a step in a positive direction.
It's not just a matter of serving your amount of time and now you're ready to go and everything's fixed. That doesn't repair any of the harm, that doesn't connect them back to the community. What really works is having them sit down and think about how they affected people and how do they fix the problem. It's a pretty powerful process. So the first thing that everyone has to agree to come in voluntarily. That's the first part. The second part is we have to agree to common courtesy, which means no name calling or yelling. We don't want to make the situation worse. The third thing is they have to agree to have an open mind, which means they'll actually listen to the other person. And the fourth thing is that we don't have to agree on all the facts of the situation. We're going to talk about each person's perspective on the conflict they've had, but we do agree that there's a problem and we need to solve it.
Oftentimes, students don't have the tools to process their feelings and emotions, and so it's our job to kind of work with them and give them some of those tools to help cope and process and communicate. Restorative practices definitely provide students with a different avenue in order to go about solving any of their issues and problems.
When you do restorative practices right, you increase accountability, you increase transparency, and you increase a feeling of teamwork and support that you wouldn't typically get with conventional approaches to discipline.
It doesn't mean we're not going to hold kids accountable or say, listen, I'm glad we've had this talk and now here's where we're going here. But it does, they know that we've heard them and that we care about them regardless of what happened. And that actually is a way more powerful way to discipline, to restore, to change behavior.
Students who disrupt our community within the school, we allow them some time to kind of de-escalate, and when they feel ready, they'll process with a staff member. And what that looks like is they first acknowledge from the student's perspective, like what the incident was, what occurred. From there, they talk about what and how they were feeling at the time and what they needed. And then finally, when they meet with the staff, they'll go through as far as having agreements to what's a better alternative method to get your needs met that didn't have to involve the disruption of the community. We also do ongoing mediations. So if there's a conflict between students, we'll have a staff member mediate. Students will tell their perspective of the incident or the ongoing issue with the other student, and the other student will listen, while then they'll kind of reverse roles. From there, they'll ask the students what they need from each other, and then we'll again establish some agreements that we can kind of move forward as a community. When agreements are broken among students, it's frustrating, especially when you give 110% every day to students and you think you have a good plan moving forward, and then only to come back the next day and that relationship has been damaged again.
Every teacher hopes that you only have to teach the lesson once and it sticks, but it is definitely something that you're constantly building on.
How long did it take you to learn to drive a car, right? You didn't learn it in one session. And if, yes, you have a great instruction and you do it really well, and the next day you forget much of it, especially when you're dealing with the level of stress that struggling kids have.
You're trying to identify with the student their actions and the consequences of their actions, and then how we can go about kind of restoring some of the community back in place due to an incident that had occurred. And so you just keep coming back to it, coming back to it.
Ruptures are essential for a healthy relationship. And the way they're essential is that the caregiver is big enough to realize something important has happened, and their primary goal is to repair the relationship. And when the child learns that loop, there's a rupture, then a repair, there's a rupture, then a repair. If that happens again and again and again, that's when you get a secure child.
And what I've learned over time, you'll go through maybe 4 or 5 different agreements on 4 or 5 different occasions, and eventually something clicks. So it's about that trust, that relationship, and using that to fully understand the whole student.
Our new policy, 3240, incorporates the use of a restorative philosophy, but that doesn't mean that restorative practices are the only way that we respond to student behavior. We still have suspensions. There are still appropriate times when we need to suspend a student. We also have detention. We have community service. And our overall philosophy is all about an interest to change behavior, maintain the relationship with the student and the family, and re-engage the student academically. That's our approach.
Not just the student's responsibility, it's not just the parent's responsibility, it's not just the teacher's responsibility, it's everybody's working together, including the student.
We all have a responsibility to build community inside of our schools, and that is one of the most important things that a classroom teacher does, and the best classroom teachers do that. They create community inside of their classroom, they get to know each student, they ensure that each student knows that they care about them. When that happens in every classroom across a school, that has a significant impact on how students feel and how they behave.
I've got a really great group of kids right now, and they came to me, some of the kindest children that I've ever worked with. And I think that's in part due to the work that the teachers have been doing recently in our school with restorative practices. And so we are benefiting from that as a whole school.
Given time and being really growth mindset and the open mind when you approach restorative practice, it's paid our students dividends as far as really being more insightful and more reflective about why they do the things they do.
To me, the why is to honor the dignity and the humanity of every person you encounter. Every person has a perspective, and every person is going to be in conflict at some time. And how do we hear them in the midst of that, and how do we move through it?
When we're trying to change a culture and you're asking district staff and families and the community to step up to the plate, you're also trying to do it in a way that everybody's raising the bar together at the exact same time. If one body is not invested or doesn't believe in the need for the cultural change or in the need for a new approach to practices, then the other two can't hold the bar up by themselves, and it won't work. So everybody kind of has to do it together, and that always takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and it has to be consistent. It's like you just keep hammering at it, and then the next thing you know, the bar is up there and everybody's like, wow, we lifted it, we didn't even know.